This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. Yes, a Derek approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh, boy. Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
Time is running out on Dan Cole's ground. Let's go to 15. Bob?
Yeah, John Cole has been visibly angry. He's been talking to himself quite a bit. And it doesn't get any easier here on the par 3 15th hole at Minnesota National. This hole is guarded by two bunkers with a big tree in front of the green. Very challenging tee shot. He's opted to hit a 5-iron here. Cole, unreal pants, fluttering in the wind, mumbling to himself, I've got to have this shot. Hootie-hoo! Ooh, that's very well struck. Spinning through the air like a J.J. McCarthy pass. It's right on line. Looking good. Oh, my! It's in! I can't believe what I just saw. A hole-in-one for Cole at the 15th, and he's pointing at patrons in the gallery shouting, you doubted me, you doubted me, you doubted me, and now he's embracing his son, Peter. What a moment between father and son here at the 15th at Minnesota National.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
And Peyton Manning takes the knee for the third straight time, and that should do it, folks. The final score of Super Bowl 41, the Colts 29, the Bears 17, and look at the pandemonium from the Indianapolis sideline down here in Miami. Colts spilling onto the field. Oh, and there we go, the Gatorade bath for Coach Tony Dungy, and it's Mike Doss applying the Gatorade bath. Good to hear from Mike Doss tonight as the Colts are your Super Bowl 41 champions.
Mark, they can't pitch. They can't hit. What is with? I mean, come on.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
That would be me. I am the common man. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. If I'm supposed to be somebody else, why do I look like me? Hey, ack, a dack, and dack, ack, June, yours. I am the common man, Dan Cole. He is tend to be La Brea Tar Pit. You know the rest of the story. I did at 66 years of age. You know, when you're 66 years old and you think it's a 6-iron, hit your 5. At 66 years old, there's not much I have not seen, heard, done, just at lat. I did something for the first time ever yesterday, Tennessee, and I think you'll be. You
logged onto a computer.
No, I've done that many times. I think you'll be surprised, and I don't know if you'll be proud of me or anything, but I ordered something from Amazon for the first time in my life.
Oh my gosh.
How long has Amazon been around? Not the Amazon River. That's been around since about the same time that they built the pyramids in Egypt, which was, in the mid-1800s. I think that's when the Amazon first became a river. How long has Amazon been around? Do you have any idea?
I mean, the actual company or...
The delivery thing.
13, 14 years maybe.
Well, Amazon has more, a truckload more. Is that what it says? Is that Amazon? Do I have the right company? You order on it all the time, right?
Nonstop, yeah.
Yeah. This is the first time. Now, full disclosure.
We don't actually go to stores to shop anymore.
Full disclosure. A bit of an asterisk. Baby brother Peter ordered it for me, but because I didn't know how to do it. But, I mean, I actually went to him and said, can you order me something on Amazon? And he said, sure. And I ordered. It was do you know what an Otter box is?
Otter box?
Yeah, Otter, an Otter box. It's the brand name of a phone cover. You know, the one that's, if you're clumsy like me and you're dropping your phone all the time. You know what I think it's like? I think it's, you know, those black boxes that they have in airplanes. So if they crash, they know what happened. I think the Otter, I think the black box is actually an Otter box is what it is, because you can drop that bad boy. You can drop your phone 13, 14 stories and it will just bounce. And I've had mine so long, there's a plastic frame that goes in first, then the rubber Otter box goes around it, right? Well, I dropped it enough that after a while, those little plastic pieces have broken apart and I have to keep poking them back in. And now, like, you know when your phone goes dark and you press the button to get it to go light again and then put in your password? I can barely press that button in because my Otter box is so destroyed. You can't find them at like Best Buy because I'm an Android guy. I'm a Samsung. One of the few. I'd like to take a poll of people here at the radio station. Am I the only person that has a Samsung in this entire building? I think everybody, because I've gone around before and said, hey, my phone's low on a charge. I need a charger. Is anybody a Samsung? And everybody's an Apple. Everybody does Apple. So I have the Samsung S21 Galaxy. And it's such an old phone. I think they might be up to number 23, 24, 25, whatever it is, that they don't sell the Otter boxes in the store anymore. You have to, and I said, well, where can I find one? He goes, well, you could try Amazon. Because I went in yesterday to get one of those fast chargers. My wife and I have been sharing one. I needed one of my own. You got a fast charger, don't you? Charges the phone in like 30 seconds. I'm exaggerating, but you plug that bad boy in and plug your phone in. If you're like at 10%, literally within 10 minutes, you'll be up to like 50 or 60. So I have one now, industrial strength one with a big, huge, the cord on it, because I've always worried. Have you ever had your cord on an electrical device, like you wear it out and it breaks? The wire inside? I've got one that almost is like as thick as a fire hose, man. It's a bad boy. And so I got that, but I couldn't get the Otter box. But I'm an Amazon, and I wanted to avoid Amazon. It's not that I don't have anything against Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's just certain things that I just have said, I've never, like for the longest time, I think the Wild, I've always regretted this. I watched the first 5 minutes of the first ever Wild game, and then I never watched another Wild game for 10 years. And I thought, if I had not watched that 5 minute, I could be the only person in the Twin Cities that I've never seen the Minnesota Wild play hockey. Now I have, but I mean, so there's certain things you just say, I've never done this, I've never done that, I won't do this, I won't
give in.
With a
sense of pride.
Yeah, and I won't give in to peer pressure or societal pressures. Societal pressures say you're supposed to do certain things because that's what society expects from you. And I've always been one of those people that, I kind of I like to buck authority. I was doing it with Swedberg and Abbott out there just a little while ago. They trying to get me now. We need you to start doing more around here. And then, of course, I come back with, well, don't you remember when our slogan was less is more? And I took that to heart. Well, less is more, so I'll do less. And then we just started getting into this, You
just did another digital video that's expected to be out today on KFAN social channels.
Exactly. Well, and I told him, I said, ask not what the common man can do for you, but what can you do for the common man? And then I said, no money, no funny. And they said, well, you do get paid every 2 weeks, do you? And I said, yeah, I guess I do. So I guess I'm expected to do more for less. And that's okay. I don't mind. It's all right by me. But what I did tell them is the one thing, because, the big thing now, there's podcasts and there's Face Chat and TickBook and Face Off and all these different social media platforms, I think they call them. And we're supposed to be more active on that. But what I said to them, I said, but let's remember this. The one thing, Face Off, Tick Book, and all the other ones, what they don't have is a radio signal. So that's unique to us. They may have dis, dat, lap, but they don't have a radio signal. So I still think the most important thing that we do is on these airwaves between noon and 3. Would you agree with that or disagree?
And you put a lot of pride into these 3 hours. You put so much work, blood, sweat, and tears.
You know, we it's like, well, today's a Wing It Wednesday. So I'm just going to wing it from start to finish.
We forgot to do the talkbacks again yesterday.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? That's a lot of work. So I got to screen them over here and go through them. Should we do it today? Well, we got Rock Talk today.
I was going to say, do we have Rock Talk?
We got Rock Talk today. Oak is coming in. I think he's coming in. He didn't say he
wasn't. We got a special guest at 2, so we might not have time for the talkbacks. We got too much show.
Here's a hint on who we have at 2 o'clock in studio. Think he ain't, you Jicky Jack. The superstar Mike Morris will join us at 2 o'clock. He was with us for a 2 o'clock piece about a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't remember what it was.
A year ago?
Yeah, so the superstar.
What Mike, Morris.
How about that? I mean, how big of a Richard do you have to be that we have big voice guys? So if somebody says somebody's really stupid, we just go, what a Morris.
And he'll be in studio right next to you, so I wouldn't say that today.
Well, that was the bit we used to always do. I'd send him a text and I'd say, I'm getting sick of your stuff. I'd say something like, word around town is you've been bad-mouthing me. And then he goes, yeah, I have. And I text him back and I go, well, you and I have to have some words. And then he'd go, where are you? And I'd say, he goes, in Woodbury. And he says, I'm about a block and a half away. And I'd say, I don't believe anything they said about you. I really think you're good.
I always love that.
So, yeah, Mike and I, we text and talk more than most people know. Long snapper extraordinaire. Literally the great, still my favorite Morris story was, Brian Billick gets the coaching job at the Ravens. He needed a long snapper. Morris was retired. He said, come out of retirement. You can show up Friday and Saturday, play Sunday, and then go home. That's all you have to do. And Mike said, nah, I think I'll pass. I think I'm done with that. The Ravens won the big game that year. No! He could have had his ring. I mean, that's like asking a guy, just show up for 3 hours a day.
That's a Mark Rosen schedule right there.
That's a Mark Rosen schedule. It's three days a week, but we'll talk with Mike about that. So we got a little of this, a little of that. Peek at the purple, other side of the break, 5:34, top of the hour. Rock Talk at 1:30, Morris at 2. We're jam-packed. We're rocking and rolling. We got plenty to get to here on the Combat program on The Fan.
The Fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword green at KFAN.com now for your shot of winning. That keyword is green. Enter now at KFAN.com.
KFAN.
This song, I know the title of it. It's Uno Cortez.
The Lynx are back in action tomorrow night as they take on the Washington Mystics. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Catch every play, every bucket, and every big moment right here on KFAN. Or as always on the Lynx station on the free iHeartRadio app.
Apparently weren't in action last night, or I would call it missing in action. More on that later. That's a bad loss. Though it's meaningless, really, other than players missed out on about $30,000 apiece. 30 grand ain't going to get you to the grave, foo. Number of ways to contact us here at The Fan. First of all, our phone number, 1-800-320-5326. Good luck with that. You'd have a better chance of contacting us with 2 tin cans and a string. We never answer the phone. I have a CB handle. Just call me Big Richard, 10-4, good buddy. And we have booth at KFAN.com is our email address. Talkback, Tenneby mentioned it earlier today. Download the iHeartRadio app. Find The Fan. Select us as a preset, would you please? And then look for the microphone icon in the corner of the screen. Tap it 30 seconds or less to deliver us an audio message. And then there, of course, is the tried and true Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN Holla Hotline, 64686. This one says, yesterday we had the chair stand challenge. Today we had the Otter box segment. A found myself sitting in my driveway during this segment so long, I ended up needing more gas. The common man is rewriting the way radio is done in front of our eyes. Of course, this one came in moments before, and it said, based on the start of the Grum today, I think it could use a rapid recharge. There's probably some truth to that. It was kind of slow paced. And then this one says, this text is sent on a flip phone. And this is all capitalized, I will never own a smartphone. Well, we're happy for you. I mean, I couldn't live without a smartphone. It's the greatest invention ever. It's a handheld. It's not a phone. It's a handheld computer. That's why I say it's a handheld. That could be the call I've been waiting my entire life for. I'm expecting a call someday. I don't know when it's coming, who it's coming from, and what it's about, but it's going to change my life. But it's a handheld computer, which doubles as a communication device. I get all my news from it. You can book tea times on it, which is important. It has a map for you, right? It's like an encyclopedia. The Wikipedia thing's the greatest thing. I love saying, who was the guitar player? They just mentioned the name Jesse Ed Davis. Who is that? I know I've heard that name before. You Google his name, it's got a Wikipedia page for him. Here's the call of it.
Probably like the worst part about not having a smartphone is you wouldn't have the iHeartRadio app. I mean, It's literally a radio wherever you want to go.
Absolutely.
You can listen to the fan anywhere you want.
It's got a flashlight on it. Like we talk about how certain.
I used it as a level the other day.
Did you really?
I was doing a project in the bathroom and I needed a level. I don't have one.
Yeah. So
I just downloaded a level app and put my phone right there, and that was my level.
I use it as a table leg leveler at a restaurant the other day. But I even have a better solution than that. One of my books. I don't have many books left. Seriously, there were 5.
You wrote a book?
Well, didn't I tell you?
No.
People ask, "What's the book about?" I go, "About me." It's the only thing I know about. We had a guest on. Kevin Bacon? No. Kevin Bacon's the actor. I forget Bacon's first name. He's a golf guy. Works for Ping, he does podcasts, he does TV, he does play-by-play. His last name is Bacon.
It's Shane Bacon.
Shane Bacon.
I've listened to him before.
Okay, so we had Shane Bacon on the radio.
That's big time.
It's really big time.
He's big time in the podcast world.
Yeah, and but Ping guy, he's got all the connections in the world. He does all the booking for the show. No one possibly thinks I book the guests, right? So I had to wedge in because he wrote a children's book about golf, and I go, we got a couple of things in common. I said, first of all, we both love golf. We're both in the media business, and then I did the old, but of course you've been much more successful than I have. I said, but we're both published authors. So I was able to get my wedge in that. You're not the only guy that's wrote a book. I wrote a book myself. Of course, I've sold about 5,000 copies. Actually about 5,200 copies. Micah says he's sold hundreds of thousands of copies. But that's another story in itself. Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric for all of your electrical needs. Remember, safety comes first with our pals at Affordable Electric. Go to affordable-electric.com, affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is, oh boy, I'm starting to like that actually. Well, you'll like it now. You'll learn to love it later. Is brought to you by, they are shockingly affordable. I've got no Vikings news. Do you have anything? Did you send me something that I just missed? Is there anything going on in Vikingville? Because if we don't, we can just turn it to, look at the Lynx, whiff of the Wolves, wondering about the Wild. There's a lot of different things we can do, but I did not see anything Viking related. I
did not read it, but Alec Lewis had a story in The Athletic called 45 Thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings offensive players ahead of training camp. 45
thoughts? We could do Peek at the Purple for, it's
the entire show.
Yeah, we could do one every day for 45 days, but then training camp would be over. Well, I've already answered most of those thoughts.
Tell me an offensive player you want a thought on, and I can tell you what Alec Lewis wrote about him.
Okay, let's do that for Peek at the Purple. Yeah. Alec Lewis, of course, works for The Athletic. He's also a contributor here to The Fan. He appears on all the shows.
He has guys here you've never heard of.
Okay, let's go with...
did you know Dante Fleming is a wide receiver on the Vikings?
I've had my eye on him for a long time, much like Mark Rosen. I watch him play college football all the time. Let me go with, who's our new running back from San Fran? What's his name?
Jordan Mason.
Let's go with Jordan Mason. What is it? What is his thought on Jordan Mason?
He says, for my money, this is the most underrated Vikings move of the offseason.
Wow.
He benefited from the San Francisco 49ers running game infrastructure, but there is something about his vision that seems different. Plus, he's massive.
He's got different vision. Crystal blue persuasion. He's got X-ray vision. Double vision.
I do think we're going to be in more of a timeshare than maybe most people realize.
You said that, and I tend to agree with you.
I think it's going to be 50-50.
Yeah. And you know what? To me, that's not a knock on Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Because that's what the running back position for the longest time until basically the last year or two was devalued because you almost always had one workhorse, right? And you'd give him the ball 20 times a game, and by the time he gets to week 13, 14, he's beaten to a pulp. He's got nothing left. Keeping both guys, that's why I did the bit, and it really wasn't a bit, where you have several running backs, interchange guys. They're fresh all the time. So two guys for sure. It's really, I guess Saquon Barkley, do they have anybody that runs a little bit behind Barkley, or is he running 25, 30 times? Maybe he did. But I think you're better off having two running backs, especially if they complement it, like the Lions do have again, will it continue to be as successful as it has been? They've got Kink and, what are their names? Logic and Sonic?
Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles. You have two different times. Sonic, you got the speed merchant, and then you got Knuckles, the guy that's going to get you the tough yards. It's nice to have those, and they both can catch the ball out of the backfield. It's nice to have. So I tend to agree with you, Tenby. I think he's going to see, I think he's going to carry the ball a lot. And then someone else brought it up either on a text message or somebody, maybe it was with LaBelle yesterday. I don't recall, and I think maybe you and I have even talked about it. I could see where we run the ball a little bit more than normal because we do have a young quarterback. He's not thrown a pass in the NFL in a regular season game. And, even when he was Michigan, if you remember, Tennessee, they ran the ball at Michigan a lot. He threw, but I don't think he averaged more than 20 passes a game, maybe 22. And so
they're always winning.
Right. And that doesn't mean he's not any good at passing. But my point is it was that kind of offense. They did a ball control offense that ran the football a lot. And so I would think I don't think you're going to force feed him into throwing 45 times a game. Maybe you do. And there might be certain situations in games where you have to. But I think mixing it up, being, play action, that whole thing, it's good. And to have another running back, and the kid put up nice numbers for the Niners, right? He's a quality running back. So I agree with you. And so, and when we talked about acquisitions, I think Alec and I think a lot alike, which probably is frightening to him. But because I thought that was maybe the most underrated acquisition. We like the guys in the middle on both sides of the line, but man, when you can add another running back and share the load, I think that's pretty important. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, family owned and operated, they're easy to find. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. They are shockingly affordable. Twins and Links, both in action, both on the wrong end of things. It's a Wing It Wednesday, and let's do some ripping. Other side of the break. Common Man program here on the Fan.
It's game time, soccer fans. Join us and Michelob Ultra for the Ultimate Club World Cup viewing party hosted by K102's Amy James. Sunday, July 13th from 12 to 2 p.m. at the local in downtown. She's giving away a pair of K102 Secret Show tickets every hour, all while enjoying $4 Michelob Ultra pints and 5 for $25 neutral buckets. Don't miss out. We'll see you at the local on July 13th.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He's 10 to be. 5:34, top of the hour. You're out tomorrow? Is that what I heard?
No, I'm in.
Oh, you're in?
Yeah.
What's tomorrow?
I mean, I'll take it off if you guys would like me to.
Tomorrow Thursday?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Then why maybe you're being fired? because Abbott said to me, he goes, Sam's in with you tomorrow.
Huh?
I guess you just don't have to show up. I just get you a day off.
Well, if I can just have the day off without taking a vacation day, using my PTO, I would love to do that.
I don't know how that worked, but anyway, I thought you were out, so
no.
I'm delighted to have you here.
Maybe he's confusing you with a different host.
That's maybe what in that
because Sam was here before me.
Yeah, maybe that was the.
Maybe he's with.
Maybe that was the confusion.
Is anyone working at this point?
I received this text message that said, "Common, you have to go to an actual Verizon store and you get an Otter box there." Just saying. Joel in St. Augusta, au contraire. I tried that before. That's what I'm telling you. You go to these places and they don't stock them all anymore because that phone is like 2 or 3 generations old. And they change the sizes of the phone. I think they're in cahoots with OtterBox. So that you can't just take your old, when you get a new phone, you can't take your old OtterBox if it's still in good working order and put it on your new phone. No, it ain't going to fit. So no, I tried that. I went to a Verizon store and asked. The one right over here, there's one over here on a 16th and Duke. You drive by it every day, right? There's over by the Jimmy John's. And I went in there and they don't have one. They said you have to, I don't know where you're going to find one. And the guy at Best Buy said, go to Amazon. So now I have ordered from Amazon. I finally ordered from Amazon. We talked about this before, Ted. I like going to the store. I like shopping. It's one of the feminine qualities that I have that I like. I like shopping. I like wearing women's underwear. It's part of my turn on, and I also have women's intuition. As a matter of fact, I like shopping at stores, like, for instance, Victoria's Secret. But you know what the worst part about shopping at Victoria's Secret is?
What's that?
They won't let you try anything on. Okay. I did play golf today, though it's not worth going over the round. I played at Prestwick at Wedgwood and Woodbury. Tennessee, do you know what the Minneapolis Hockey Association is?
The Minneapolis Hockey Association?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the premier U.S. hockey-sanctioned girls and youth hockey program in Minneapolis. We raised money for them today. Your guy, Derek.
Yeah.
You've done a video with Derek.
I have done, yeah. You let me do some voiceover stuff.
Yeah, and I heard...
And then never called me back, so I heard apparently it didn't go well.
Well, he thought you did a great job.
Oh.
And he said, I think they won a local Emmy with it, so you have an Emmy Award coming.
I didn't know that either.
You've got an Emmy Award coming. You were part of that. So
I thought I was going to parlay that into a nationally syndicated television voiceover work, and then I haven't gotten a call back since.
You're still waiting for that call that will change your life as well. Derek has his own, works for an ad agency called Shinebox. He was one of the people I played with today. He, I think he said is it his daughter that plays? I don't, my mind is bad. The other 2 guys in the group were a surgeon from Methodist and a pilot from Delta. And I was the brains of the operation. Think about the high school dropout. No, I'm just kidding. And the thing about Brian, the surgeon, if you watch a short game, you would have thought he was a blacksmith. I mean,
Did you use your surgeon line when you were?
I didn't. I should have, and I didn't even think about it till later. And then Delta pilot guy, he could hit the ball in the air, just didn't go very far. But we had fun. We had a good time.
Early landing with his shots?
Early landing, yes, absolutely. Well, I didn't even know he was a pilot until he hit a shot on 16 that was skidding across the green, and I go, full flaps. And surgeon guy goes, he's a pilot too, so he understood the full flaps. And then Derek said, what does full flaps mean? The guy says, stop. You're trying to get it to slow down. And so we had a great time.
He was missing his runway is what you're saying.
He did.
Overshooting the runway?
He overshot the runway. And so we raised money for the Minneapolis Hockey Association. Thanks to Prestwick at Wedgwood and Woodbury for donating the tee times and the carts, and we had a good time to be had it by one and all. Twins lose last night, 10-0. I wonder if LaBelle still thinks the Twins will swing the sticks. They do swing the sticks. They just have trouble hitting the ball. They don't make contact with the ball often enough. 2 hits, I think, yesterday was all they had. The best part of the game tonight, I'm sure you're already aware of it, right? So Joe Ryan, by the way, was really good again yesterday. And Joe Ryan I don't know when the All-Star teams will be announced. And I think for the everyday players, the position players, it's a vote, and I can't remember how they do it. Is it 1/3 fan vote, 1/3 players, and 1/3 me? I don't know how they work it, but the pitchers are all selected by the managers. I got to think Joe Ryan's in. He didn't win yesterday, but he pitched. He was marvelous. 2 runs. I think he gave up both runs. I don't know if they were both earned. I know one was a home run, and that's the best. It's so Minnesota sports, right? Some Miami kid gets hit by a pitch, starts trotting down to first base. The Twins challenge. They say, whoa, I don't think he got hit. They go to the replay. He didn't get hit. So they made him go back to the batter's box. Only problem is, two pitches later, he hit a home run. So he would have been better off at first base. Isn't that so Minnesota sports? Make a challenge, win it.
Yeah.
Instead of the hit batter at first base, you get him back in the batter's box, and then 2 pitches later, he hits a home run. He'd have been sitting at first. You might have doubled him off. We might have won the game and started another winning streak, but it didn't happen that way. But Twins lose again, and I know Betty said they can't hit, they can't pitch. They can pitch occasionally. When Joe Ryan's out there, he pitches pretty well, but another loss for the Twins to the Wobegon. Though the Marlins, I think I saw in the fish wrap, they've won like 8 games in a row, even though their record isn't as good as the Twins. So they're on some kind of a little bit of a heater right now, as the kids would say. And then there was the Minnesota Lynx. That was one of those games, tend to be where I know a game is never really truly loser-proof, but you almost had to think, you're at home, Commissioner's Cup, you're 14-2, you're playing an 8-8 club without arguably the most popular player in the league and one of the best players.
Their best player, yeah.
In Caitlin Clark. And they were up at one point in the game 27-14. I think it was at that point, they didn't score another point in the first half. Indiana, what's the Fever? Is that what the
Fever,
name is? The Fever went on like an 18-0 run and then scored the first bucket of the second half too, and they never looked back and they won. And there was a quote from one of the gals in Royce's piece where she, from the Lynx, where she was really looking forward to the game because last year when they won the Commissioner's Cup, she said, I think I got like $30,000 because it was a $500,000 pool that all went to the winner and it was split up amongst all the members of the team. So apparently last year was worth about $30,000. Now, Tennessee, you and I both know $30,000 ain't going to get you to the grave, foo. But especially that, they're not making nearly as much money as the men. We know why. If they ever get to that kind of viewership, they will. But that's still a pretty good chunk of change. But and again, that game doesn't count in the regular season standings. So it's not the end of the world. But I was fairly surprised when I saw the result. Did you stream any of it or not?
I did not see any of it. I did not.
Were you as surprised as I was by I know it's sports and on any given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night, whatever the case may be. Well, but I didn't think the Lynx were going to lose that game.
Well, one, this is a Fever team that 2 years ago was the worst team in all basketball. And they got Caitlin Clark. I'm sure they've made some upgrades. Clearly, they've played better with Caitlin the last year and change than they did previous to her, but they're not up at a championship level, and they are missing their best player. And what's great about the Lynx is they're consistent. They can get scoring from anybody. I know they have MVP, but they can get scoring from anybody. They seem to always bring the defense every single game. And to see them throw a clunker in a game like that where I know it doesn't mean anything in the standings, but they're all making okay money. But in terms of when you compare it to other sports, that money from winning a Commissioner's Cup is still significant to them. So, they all had something to play for last night. And to no-show, really, for kind of the first time all year is pretty disappointing. Yeah, and more for them than the fans, because, again, it doesn't even count in the standings, so you're still 14-2. But the pocketbook, and like you say, when they ain't making that big money. So, but you know what, Tennessee? You get knocked off that, you fall off that horse, you get right back on and try it again. Maybe Indiana just wanted it more.
Well, there's that. And I don't think the Lynx can say they came out flat because they jumped out to a It was, like I said, I think I read that it was a 27-14 lead.
Well, they just come off a performance in which they just destroyed the Sun by one of the biggest margins in their franchise's history. I mean, it was almost a 40-point win.
It was a total eclipse of the Sun is what it was.
Yeah. And the Sun aren't very good, but still.
I'm looking at a Sarah McClellan piece, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. She's beat writer for Wild Hockey for the Fish Wrap Factory West Side. It says, Wild signs 6 players, including goalie Cal Peterson and Minnesotans Tyler Pitlick and Matt Kierstead. Is this just filling out the roster? This is depth. This is
okay. These are guys that are going to be starting out with the Iowa Wild.
Okay,
but they're on like the 2-way contracts. So the Iowa Wild is a team that's going to be filled with all of your own prospects, like guys that you've drafted, and then you go out and get free agents like this, and probably not a bad spot for some players to try to sign as one of these types of players. Because, like a Pitlick, for example, an injury or two, and now he's up at the Wild, and he's playing on their 4th line, 3rd line, and has a chance to make some okay money and still have a chance in the league. But, I mean, Cal Peterson's, he'll be your 3rd goalie. Obviously, we don't have Marc-Andre Fleury this year. He's retiring. But you got Gustafsson, and Wallstedt should be up full-time now, the young prospect goalie who didn't play very well for Iowa last year. So Cal Peterson should be your Iowa Wild starting goalie, but he's there for insurance in case there's an injury with their top 2, or I guess if Wallsted's not ready, which would be disappointing at this point. If he's not ready and you have more trust in Cal, then he might see some action with the Minnesota Wild. But the rest of them are just Iowa Wild fill-ins. Could they technically win a roster spot in the training camp? Possibly. Pretty unlikely. Usually those rosters are pretty set. But it just takes an injury or two, and those guys are now in the mix.
It's I learned something, though, today that you learn something new every day. This hockey can be a little bit like radio where you go town to town, up and down the dial. In this piece, Sarah writes about Pitlick. It says, he played at Centennial High School, Minnesota State Mankato, coming off a 59-game season with Boston's American Hockey League team, scoring 21 goals and assisting on 25 others. The 33-year-old signed a 2-way deal for 2 years in 10 NHL seasons with Edmonton, Dallas, Philly, Arizona, Calgary, Montreal, St. Louis, and the New York Rangers. Pitlick has 56 goals and 53 assists in 420 games. He was a second-round pick by the Oilers in 2010, left MSU after his freshman season to play a year with Medicine Hat, which is in Canada, in the Western Hockey League before signing a pro contract. I mean, that's stick-to-itiveness to play, it's like, I've been everywhere, man. I mean, he's been Edmonton, Dallas, Philly, Arizona, Calgary, Montreal. He's played for pretty near every organization in the National Hockey League, and then last year he's playing in the AHL. But you just stick to it, and you grind it out. He's a lifer, it looks like, in the National Hockey League.
Well, I mean, compared to NHLers, he's making pennies. But overall, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't remember the exact contract details. But it's typically like he's making like $175,000 a year if he's playing in the minors. Is it like $350,000 if he's playing in the NHL?
Yeah, well, this says the 33-year-old signed a 2-way deal for 2 years, $775,000/$300,000 in 2025-2026.
Yeah.
$775,000/$350,000.
So I was way off. So that's actually way better. So he's still getting paid $300,000 a year to play minor league hockey, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know what Tyler's other interests are and what he wants to do with the rest of his life. But if you can make $300,000 a year playing a sport that you love, I mean,
there's all of these guys are in that same boat where they playing these 2-way deals, $775,000, $450,000, $775,000, $500,000. Ben Gleason, $800,000, $475,000. So you're right. That's great money to play. But it's just interesting how it's just. You just grind playing for I mean, he's played for like 6 or 7, the Pitlick guys, 6 or 7 different pro teams, and he's playing AHL. Like you say, making a good living, but they're like town to town.
Well, he's one of those guys who's constantly on the bubble, right? You're constantly on the edge, and you want to keep moving to different places. Like, a team's going to show you after a year or two what they think of you. And if they think of you as just a minor league top line guy, you're now going to try to move on to the next situation where you can prove to be more than that.
So the Lynx fall to the Fever 74-59, and Red Panda fell as well, right?
I hear that.
Red Panda.
Biggest upset of the night last night, her falling.
Yeah, Red Panda. And I've seen her work before. I think she works 365. She's on that 8-foot unicycle, and she juggles or balances dishes, plates and such like that. And apparently she took a tumble last night. They gave her a standing ovation. They wheeled her off in a wheelchair. It looks like she was grabbing her wrist, so maybe she broke her fall when she fell down. But that goes to show you, even the best in the world at unicycle juggling can have an off night, right? And I think she's going to be okay.
I hope so.
Because like I say...
Why hasn't there been like a Netflix documentary of like behind the Red Panda? Watch her training.
Neither the Lynx...
Flying from city to city.
Neither Lynx or League Communication. I don't think she flies. She unicycles from city to city, I think is what she does. Neither Lynx or League Communication staff provided an update on Red Panda's condition, but Red Panda was responsive and conscious following the fall. Her agent, Pat Figley, also did not have an update when contacted by the Minnesota Star Tribune late on Tuesday night. So no update on her. She stood up and was helped to the sideline, waving to the crowd as she walked off the court before she collapsed to the floor again. Several Target Center staff members tended to her while someone grabbed a wheelchair. She was lifted into that wheelchair and escorted out to chants of Red Panda from the crowd. Red Panda, Red Panda.
Red Panda.
And hopefully hopefully chanting for her.
Is it a lower body injury, upper body injury? Do we know? Do we have any indication?
She was holding her wrist.
Okay.
So if her hand's up above her waist, it's an upper body injury, but if she's holding her hand down here, it would be lower body. Right? Well, above the waist, below the waist. I guess it could be both.
And can she only now hold like 4 plates instead of 6 because of that injury, or how's it going to affect her?
Maybe she could do it with one hand tied around her back. Let me ask you this. Can you juggle?
No.
I can't either. And it doesn't seem like it should be too terribly difficult, but I've tried to do it, and I don't have the patience for those kinds of things, right? But you take 3 balls, and one's got to always be in the air, and you got to throw them exactly right. I couldn't for the life of me. Remember when I told you,
you're throwing one while you're catching one, and
I can't do it. Remember, I juggle a lot of hats here at the radio station, but I can't juggle them. No, I can't do it.
And you got to make like a perfect throw. Yeah. Otherwise, it throws off the entire flow of it.
This one says, sounds like you haven't seen her act. YouTube it now, most amazing thing ever seen. Well, it's not the most amazing thing ever seen. I've seen her act. I've been to a game. She works every night of the year. I've seen Red Panda work at Wolves games before.
If it was the most amazing thing you've ever seen, she'd be working in Vegas.
Yeah.
At a show at a hotel in Vegas as opposed to just doing halftime shows.
But it is. It's astonishing.
It's very talented. There's no doubt about that.
She flips multiple O's from her toe to land on her head while on a unicycle. No joke. It's beyond amazing. I would love to hear your reaction on the air. Well, I've seen it before. I told you I've seen it. It's amazing.
Can she do 37 sit stands from a chair, though? I mean, that's what I would want to know.
I did 28 in 30 seconds. And look, yeah, I mean, sword swallowing is an incredible feat, right? Have you ever seen anybody do sword swallowing? It's amazing. Or have you ever seen the woman that gets sawed in half in a box by a magician? That's amazing to me. It's more amazing, but she's very good at what she does, and hopefully Red Panda will rebound and will be, what they always say, we talked about you fall off that horse, if you fall off that bike, if you fall off that unicycle, you got to get right back on it as well. So hopefully she will be fine. Let's take our break, and we'll come back. Tennebee's got some 534 for us. Brian Oak, I got a couple of music. Do we have another? Can you put together a?
I've had it ready for like the
that's
last
right, we
couple
didn't
weeks,
do
so
it.
it's just ready whenever we need it. Yep.
So we'll do some UK versus USA. USA. I got a couple of other topics I want to bounce off. There's a bitter musician from the 80s.
Oh.
And I'm sure you're an 80s guy, so you'll probably recognize the name, but we'll get to that and several other topics with Brian Oak during Rock Talk. Other side of the break, though, it's 534. Tease, please.
Yeah, when should we be concerned about Kirill?